Hey guys, today we're going to talk about my favorite Adeptus Custodes again, and in this video I'll discuss my top 3 character combos, so which units I believe are very good to have in your list and how you should kit these characters out. So without further ado, let's dive right in. And the first one in the happy family of golden boys is going to be the Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle jet bike. Obviously everyone knows that Shield Captains on bikes are very good, but in this case we're going to talk about how this one should be fitted with relics and traits and all that. So the combo is 180 points and 2 or 3 command points worth, if depending on what you want to give to this guy. So we want to make this captain as dangerous and survivable as possible, basically annoying. So he should go there, kill something, stay alive, then kill something, then preferably stay alive one more turn, and only then, after killing something else, go down. That's the ideal, perfect way to use him, and that's why we're going to try to help him out in that. For that, firstly, we'll spend just 5 points for the salvo launcher, because the one shot of 8 strength 8 AP 4 damage D3 plus 3 is much better than 12 shots with the Hurricane Bolter. That's just plain and simple. And for 15 points more, we're going to buy him the Captain Commander trait Tip of the Spear. It's the best one in my opinion. It gives you reroll once to hit and wound on the charge or on the heroic intervention, which is very important because you only have 6 attacks with the Custodes character plus 1 with the Misericordia, and you don't want to miss with any of them. And obviously out of 6 dice, you are bound to roll at least 1-1. And after that, when you're rolling to wound, you have +1 to wound from your spear, but you don't have the reroll to wound anymore, which you had previously in 8th edition. So you really need that reroll 1 to wound, and you often wound things on 2s, like anything that's toughness 6 or lower, because of that +1 to wound. So rerolling the 1 would be very beneficial, and obviously 15 points is definitely not something you want to save up on in this case. For his warlord trait, he definitely needs superior creation for the 5-up shrug, because he has 9 wounds, so he has the maximum that a character who can be protected by Lookout Sir can have, and the more wounds you have with the shrug, the better, because it allows you to have more chances to actually roll that 5+ and stay alive for longer. So that's just a basic rule. The more wounds a character has, the better for him to have the 5-up shrug, or any shrug for that matter. And as a bonus for 1 extra command point, if this guy is your warlord, which is not a problem because killing a warlord or not killing a warlord is not really a big deal anymore in 40k. So for 1 command point, he can have an extra warlord trait, which I would recommend to have is -1 to hit from Radiant Mantle. So it's -1 to hit both in combat and in shooting. It will make him even more survivable and annoying and hard to kill. It's not essential, however, because command points are precious with Custodes, and you might not have that extra leeway in your list, and I understand that, so it's just an option if you really want to make him extra naughty. That's the way I would go, but if you don't have that extra command point, not a problem. The 5-up shrug is the most important in this category in the warlord traits. For relic, we mostly have one good choice, which is Auric Aquila's bike. It allows us to reroll charges, which is useful because you don't want to spend the command points on rerolling charges with this guy, and there is going to be some case when you need to roll like a 7 or an 18 charge to get into a very juicy target, and you don't want to miss that chance, and you don't want to spend the command point on rerolling the charge because you might need that elsewhere. So a good ability to reroll charges from the bike, but the most important part is that it allows you to have a once per game 34-inch move, and that's a lot. So you cannot shoot after that, you cannot charge, you obviously cannot make a heroic intervention in your turn, so you will basically just be standing there somewhere in the opponent's midst. If you're lucky and if you think about what you're doing, you will probably find a place where your captain can stay relatively safe for the turn of the opponent, and then in your next turn move 14 and then charge and shoot something that is very valuable. In any case, having an ability to generally mostly like teleport across the board, and it's even better than teleporting because you don't have that limitation of being 9 inches away from the enemy. So you can be very close to, say, a not dangerous unit of cultists or something like that, which are not probably going to charge you because you will kill most of them when they after they fight you. So you have a lot of flexibility with this relic, which is why I recommend to take it on the Shield Captain. And here is a bonus for you. If you're running Shadow Keepers like I personally do, you can go for a character killer combo. And for that, you need the Stasis Oubliette relic, which is their Shadow Keeper specific relic, and it's probably the best one in the game. It allows you to apply a fight less debuff to a unit within engagement range. And that you will use to freeze up an important and dangerous character to make sure that they don't fight you, this character doesn't fight you until you have a chance to swing. And you can also take the Lock Warden warlord trait for your captain, which allows you to ignore invulnerable saves on your attacks against characters, and that applies to your Melta missile as well, and your Melta missile is AP 4, so imagine sneaking behind the back of, say, Space Marine Captain, shooting a Melta missile into his spine, and it'll probably deal most of the wounds already, and then charging him, applying the fight last debuff to him or to some of his comrades, maybe someone who's protecting him nearby, to make sure that you actually have a chance to swing and there are no dangerous interrupts, and killing the captain outright. It's a very dangerous combo. I have been on the receiving end of it, and let me tell you that it's not a pleasant one. In this case, I would definitely recommend to have the Superior Creation warlord trait on him as well. So this one will cost you 3 command points because, as I said again, the Film of Pain is very important, and you don't want to lose this captain as soon as he receives 9 wounds. You want to give him at least some more chances to survive longer, so that he can make his points back, because he actually costs 180 points and 3 command points, which is a lot. Here is the Solaris Shield Captain. The combo is 125 points and 1 or 2 command points in cost. For his wargear, I would probably choose the Spear, because as I discussed in my previous video, top 3 Custodes units to avoid. The axes are nigh on useless now, because their AP 2 is just not enough against anything that has Armor of Contempt or a decent save, and their damage 2 is useless against any targets with -1 damage. So just not great, to be honest. We need something to be done with the Castellan axes to make them usable again. I've proposed to make them damage 3 and more expensive. We'll have to see what Games Workshop come up with, but I'm sure they already know that there is a problem like that. I hope so. So the Spear is now the better choice, and for his Captain Commander upgrade, I would choose the Unstoppable Destroyer. It costs only 10 points, I think, and you get a 4-inch unrestricted pilot and heroic intervention, even when you are already in base-to-base contact. It's just incredible. You cannot imagine how well you can use that if you actually think of what you're doing and get used to being able to do such things in the game. The Solaris Captain can save lives of your comrades, and he can also make the game for your opponent much, much harder with this Captain Commander upgrade. But his relic is what actually makes him so annoying as he can be. It's the Praetorian Plate. It gives him toughness 6, which is, well, great, especially if you're being attacked by strength 3 or strength 10 weapons, which are nowadays prevalent, especially with the new Guard Codex. But it's not the most important part. The most important part is you get an ability to, once per game, in the heroic intervention phase of your opponent, teleport into engagement range and within 3 inches of a friendly Custodes unit. So this opens up so many possibilities of messing up with your opponent's plans and going where your opponent isn't expecting you to go, especially with that Unstoppable Destroyer Captain Commander trait. I've seen this combination being used, and you can't imagine how devastating that can be when you can just, for example, base an opponent's unit model, out of nowhere, where they absolutely did not expect for your unit to appear there. And, well, yeah, it's very difficult to explain how you can use that. It's easier to see that in game, but believe me, this combo is worth it if you learn how to use it properly. For his warlord trait, we again have the same two warlord trait combinations, Superior Creation and Radiant Mantle. If you already have a Bike Captain in your army, I recommend to stick the Superior Creation on him, because again, he has one more wound, so he will be able to use this warlord trait more than the Solaris Captain, and you can probably use the Radiant Mantle trait on him instead, on the Solaris. And the last character we're going to talk about is the Blade Champion. So his combo is 120 points and 1 or 2 command points. He's just costs 120 points, so we don't have any upgrades on him or any war gear. He's there to be a counter-charge heroic intervention threat to run along our main attack line at the start of the game and become a targeted threat neutralizer closer to the end of the game. So we keep him somewhere near our, say, Dreadnought line or several units of Custodian Guard, something like that, of that sort. And he will pop up and kill something or help your comrades when they are being attacked or when someone gets close to them. And after that, when the game is already past, say, turn 3, you'll be able to run around with him and kill some lonely characters, maybe finish off a Dreadnought, something of that sort. That's how I envision him being used in the games. For the relic, for him, I would go with Eagle's Eye in 90% of the games. It's a +1 wound relic, so he will be 8 wounds, just like an Solaris Captain, and once per game you have a 3+ invulnerable save. You can turn it on until the end of your turn. That's very, very good if you decide to charge him into something that's very dangerous, like Abaddon the Despoiler. And if you want to keep your Blade Champion at least a minor chance of surviving the retaliating attack, you would like to have that 3+ invulnerable save on him. If somehow you still haven't used up the Superior Creation warlord trait on the Solaris Captain or on your Bike Captain before, Blade Champion is the next best target for that. Well, he's just as good as the Solaris Captain because he will also have 8 wounds with the Eagle's Eye relic. So, as we already discussed, Superior Creation is awesome, 5-up Shrug is awesome, take it whenever you can, and just only choose the character with most wounds for it. Another great trait if you're playing as Emperor's Chosen is Auric Exemplar. It allows you to have an extra attack for every kill you make with this guy, up to 4 max. I'm not sure he's there to be killing a bunch of targets simultaneously. He's, I think, mostly as a targeted threat, but if you find yourself fighting against a bunch of cultists that have charged you out of nowhere, you will be glad to have that, because for every one you kill, and you'll probably kill 4 with your sweep attack, you will be granted an extra attack, so you will be very likely to finish off an entire squad. Alternatively, you can go for Peerless Warrior, which is probably would be my choice if I would want to bump up his martial prowess. So it allows you to ignore Feel No Pain abilities and wound caps. So if you're charging Abaddon, he'll be very much scared because you can actually kill him in one fight phase, and you also ignore any Feel No Pains if the target has them, and you also do mortal wounds on 6s to wound in combat. That's not that awesome considering that you only have 6 attacks and 12 attacks if you are using the sweep profile, but it's still not bad considering that you have 2 things in this warlord trait at once. So I hope this video was useful for you. Let me know if you have better combos for your Adeptus Custodes characters. I would love to know if I have missed something, and I'll see you next time.